All right. Hello and welcome to Lesson Zero. Lesson Zero is sort of an optional lesson that I'm going to make really quickly for you. It is geared mostly towards total tarot beginners, people who have never picked up a tarot deck in their life or are just very, very new to tarot. But I'm also going to cover my personal rules about tarot and about teaching tarot. So it's really kind of a useful lesson, I guess, for everyone. But let's just get started. So, what is tarot and what is it used for? So, tarot is a deck of 78 cards, and I'm talking specifically about the Rider-Waite-Smith based tarot decks. There are other tarot decks out there that have fewer or more cards. I'm not talking about those. I'm only talking about the Rider-Waite-Smith, which is the most common and most traditional tarot deck used today. So that's what I'm talking about, and that's what we're going to be using in this course. But what is that deck, and what is it used for? Well, it's got a great history. Tarot actually dates to about the 14 to 1500s. It was a card game in France and Italy. A lot like how we use playing cards to play poker and stuff, they used tarot cards to play card games. That's how it all got started. Obviously, it's been co-opted by many cultures and many different uses and reasons over the centuries and decades. So what is it, though, used for today? Well, most people use tarot cards as a way of self-discovery, of learning about themselves and about the world around them. Some people read for divination and they predict the future or commune with some spiritual beings. Other people, like myself, don't do that at all. So I personally choose to read for creativity, self-care, and personal development, mindset work, all of those things that really are within my control. I don't use tarot to communicate to spirits or develop psychic powers or try to tell the future. You totally can use the cards for that. I just don't. So just so you know, it really doesn't matter. I have no personal judgment or agenda against people who choose to use cards in that way. It's just I don't choose to do that because I don't have those skills or abilities. But I don't need to have those skills or abilities to teach you how to use the cards for whatever purpose you want to use them for. So that's what this course is about. So tarot basically can be used for pretty much anything that you want it to. The 78 cards of the Rider-Waite-Smith based decks, they all contain archetypes, personalities, symbols, images, characters, and little stories right on the cards. So it is a great tool for creativity. I mean, writers coming up with, different stories and stuff, but it's also a great way to trigger ideas about your mindset and beliefs, those stories that live inside your head. So if you have some tunnel vision about something, whether it's a belief in your life or maybe a pattern you have, tarot is really good at sort of kicking you and pointing out that, maybe that isn't the best way, or maybe there might be some other healthier way. So it's a fantastic tool for mindset and beliefs. So what can you expect, though, when you are learning tarot? Especially when you're learning it from me. All right. So learning tarot can be overwhelming. It can feel frustrating and it can feel like it takes a very long time. I just want to get that out there because I don't want to sugar candy coat any of this, okay? Learning tarot can be hard, but it doesn't have to be. So it totally depends on how you're learning and how you approach it in your life. Tarot can also be just wicked fun, and it's such a useful tool that makes it a practical use, right? It is a lifelong teacher that you're going to be going back to again and again once you know how to use it. You're going to be using it pretty often for the rest of your life. How cool is that? But I do want to say there are times when you will get overwhelmed and you will get frustrated and it will seem hard. But overall, that's not really the way it goes. It's not that hard. It's not that frustrating. And it's actually quite simple and quite easy when you just sort of flip the way you think about it. And those mindset stories and beliefs you have. Yeah. So humans are natural storytellers. And these cards have so many stories on them that it's really easy to remember those stories. Trying to memorize reading or meanings and the information, it's academic and boring, and frankly, it just doesn't even work anyway. But when you tell yourself little stories and you remember stories, it just opens up a world for you. And it makes tarot learning so much easier. So I do have 2 rules when I teach here at the Simple Tarot. I actually have more than 2 rules, but these really are the only 2 that are going to pertain to this course. The first rule is that there's no right way and there's no wrong way. There is only your way. And that goes towards learning tarot as well as reading tarot. And it, in fact, goes towards living your life in general. And this actually means a few things. There's no right or wrong way. That means that my way may not be the right way for you. I am totally okay if you take some of my information and don't use it, or if you twist it and make it work better for you. In fact, I hope you do that. My way is just one way. There is no right way. There's only your way, and I'm here to help you find it. And then I'm here to help you double down on your way so that you make it as strong and as good for you as possible. Okay? This also means that even though I don't personally read for divination or to connect with spiritual beings, I am totally open to people who do. Remember, no right way, no wrong way. There's only your way. So my way, like I said, is not divination. But I try to make sure that everything I'm teaching is as open to everyone else out there. So I can't teach you to access your second powers. I can't teach you to commune with spiritual beings. I can't teach you to predict the future because I don't do that, so I don't know how. But you do not need to believe the same things that I do. In fact, I love it when you don't believe what I believe. I think the world is best when we have all of these just ideas rubbing up against each other and challenging each other. You know, it makes everyone and everything stronger. So, you do not have to follow my path to get much out of this course. In fact, I hope you don't follow my path. I hope you find your own way. But that's why I'm here. I'm here to guide you to find your own path. Okay? Rule number 2 is that everything is fluid and everything is changing at all the time. So this is about everything, but especially when it comes to learning tarot, teaching tarot, and what you think you know about tarot and about your life, really, all in together. Everything changes. Everything is fluid. The things you know about tarot today, you're going to know different things, more things, different things, better things, changed things tomorrow. You will know different things in 2 weeks, a month from now, at the end of this course, and then 6 months from now when you remember you took it and you want to check it out again. I hope you know a lot more about tarot then, but you also are probably going to know a lot more about yourself too. Every little bit of this is changeable. Everything changes. What you believe today does not need to be what you believe tomorrow. You are a fluid, changeable human being, and it is okay to change your mind. This also means that it's okay for me to change my mind too. Just because I believe this one thing right now, come to me in 2 weeks and maybe take another class or just check out one of the YouTube videos, and I might be talking about something different. That's okay. In fact, it's awesome. That means I've learned and I've grown too. In fact, everything is fluid. Everything is changeable. Always. Okay, so those are my 2 rules, and they really frame everything about this course and everything I teach. So there's no right or way or wrong way. There's only your way, and it is my job to help you double down and find that way and make your way as strong as possible. And then my way, your way, everything is changing over time. Everything is fluid. Okay, with those rules out of the way, let's get back to tarot. How do we choose a tarot deck? How do we shuffle a tarot deck? How do we store our tarot deck? All right, did I say that there's no right way? There's no wrong way? There's really only your way, okay? So choosing a tarot deck for this course, we're going to need a 78-card Rider-Waite-Smith based deck. Choose a deck that is beautiful, something that you really love. Choose a deck that really speaks to you. Unfortunately, I do have to say, though, that some of the most beautiful decks out there are not easy for beginners. So I do have a video on YouTube, and I'm going to put a link down in the comments or just below this video, wherever, about my favorite tarot decks for beginners. It's called like the best tarot decks for beginners or something really creative, but it just gives you some ideas of what to look for and things you don't want when you're choosing your first tarot deck. If you have the simple tarot deck or the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, you're golden. As long as it's a 78 card Rider-Waite-Smith based tarot deck, you're going to be okay in this course. Some of those Rider-Waite-Smith based tarot decks, especially more modern ones, they twist a few of the meanings. They go into paganism. They use animals instead of people. It makes it a little bit more difficult for tarot beginners. However, if you're willing to put in the time to learn your deck, go right ahead with it. The only requirement for this course is that 78 card Rider-Waite-Smith based deck. And if you don't know if your deck is based on the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, all you have to do is say, like, is the Modern Witch deck a Rider-Waite-Smith based tarot deck in Google, and Google will give you the answer. All right. Now you have your deck. How do you shuffle the deck? You can shuffle them just like a regular deck of playing cards. I am a terrible shuffler, even after all these years. So if you want to see cards like fly out all over the place, you're going to watch me shuffle. I usually just put them on a table and I go like this. I smush them about is what I call it. I just sort of then like smush them all together, and then I might cut it again and then smush some more. It is ridiculous and it's embarrassing to see me do it, but it works for me. I try to do those shuffle fancy things and so, nah. But just like everything else, there is no right way or wrong way of shuffling. There's your way, there's my way. We all do it differently. The whole idea is just to randomize the cards, and that's what we're looking for. So if you do shuffle a brand new deck that is, it starts, the Fool, Magician, High Priestess, and it just goes through all of the cards in order, you want to randomize those before you start playing with them. So 10 shuffles is the like magic number for a 78 card deck to shuffle it. So just shuffle it 10 times and that should be random enough. If you'll use my smushing method, right about 90 seconds of constant smushing is enough to randomize it. You can also do the pile method. There's just lots of ways. It doesn't matter as long as the cards are random. All right. How do you protect your deck or store it? Yeah, it doesn't matter. I stick mine back in the box and put them on a shelf. Other people wrap them in beautiful scarves, maybe silk or natural fibers. Some people like to bathe them in moonlight or smudge them with sage, maybe put them in a bowl of salt. It doesn't matter. You can, with a new deck, do these to cleanse them if you want, like energetically cleanse them, not like Clorox clean them, but just cleansing the energy of them if you feel that's important to you. Some people like the rituals of putting them in a special place or special box. Remember, no right way, no wrong way. Do whatever works for you. There is real meaning in ritual. So if these rituals are important to you, please follow them, but you don't need to do anything or learn anything new if they're not important to you. The idea is to store your tarot deck in someplace safe so that all 78 cards are there, and they're the same 78 cards that you put there. That's it. Keep them clean and safe so you can use them again. I keep talking about these 78 cards, but what are they? How are they organized? Here, let me show you. The tarot deck is organized into major and minor arcana. There are 22 major arcana that start with a 0, the Fool, and they go to 21, the World. It starts at 0 because it's really the beginning and the ending of a cycle. So think of a circle instead of a straight line. Then there are the minor arcana cards, sometimes called the pips, P-I-P-S, pips. The minors are divided into 4 suits, just like a normal deck of playing cards is, except in the tarot, the 4 suits are the cups, the pentacles, sometimes called the coins, the swords, and the wands. And the wands are sometimes called batons. And each of these suits has 14 cards. Each of the cups, the pentacles, the wands, and the swords will have an ace through a 10, plus the page, knight, queen, and king of the court cards. Sometimes page will be called princess, and you might have some other terms, like queen is sometimes called mother and king is called father. It just depends on your deck. But the system and the organization is always the same. You have the ace through the 10, and then the 4 court cards of each of the 4 suits. If you have the simple tarot deck or the classic Rider-Waite-Smith deck, or a few other tarot decks out there that are based on this Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, the cards are actually color-coded. So it is really awesome if you lay out all of the cups in a line, and then another line for all the pentacles, and then all of the wands in a line, and then all of the swords separately. You can see how the color families transition between each of the cards. It is really obvious in the simple tarot deck because I designed it that way, but it's also obvious in that Rider-Waite-Smith deck. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of decks are color-coded. The major arcana are those 22 cards with the Fool through the world. They represent major archetypes of people, major themes, and major life lessons. The major things in life. The minors, those pip cards, the minor arcana, are the 14 cards in each suit, like I said. And these are the stories, events, little situations. And they're just like minor stories, really. Think of the minor arcana as like little scenes that happen in everyone's life, or a tiny little lesson or experience you have. And then, of course, you have the 4 people of each suit, which are the court cards, the page, knight, queen, and king. And these are really personalities, characters, and they often represent people in your actual life. It does get a little bit complicated, and we have a whole lesson in this course devoted specifically to the court cards, so don't freak out about that. But that's it, really. You got the major arcana, minor arcana, and a breakdown of the numbers, the suits, and the court cards. This is a really quick overview of how a tarot deck is organized. You can dive down deep into this, going like into rabbit holes of symbolism and numerology, the Kabbalah, and zodiac associations. None of those are absolutely necessary for learning or reading the tarot cards. Some of them are super fun, but they are not necessary. So my YouTube channel is filled with videos like that go into those weird rabbit holes. So if you want to dive deep into one of them, go right ahead. But please don't think you need to. You're going to get so much out of just participating in this course and really committing to it. Keep your eyes on that prize right now. Stay with the course. And then if you do find that you love tarot so much that you want to keep learning more about it, then jump over to those YouTube videos or wherever else and start learning more. But I think it really helps right now to stay focused and just learning through this course. So, how are you going to measure your success as you stay with this course? This is really important, and this is why I keep stressing how important it is that you print out this court card confidence tracker. We are going to be doing homework every single week of this course that relates to the card confidence tracker, and you're going to see over time how your confidence grows. And the very first thing you can do, actually, as you see right here, on this card confidence tracker, there is a column that says Start. If you are super familiar and confident with any of the card meanings, you can just put a little smiley face in that column right next to the card. And there's a few cards that are pretty much like that for most people. Like everyone kind of knows what the Lovers is about, or the Two of Cups, which again is a love card, or the Three of Swords, which is just obvious from the horrible image on it. You can be pretty confident about some of those meanings just by looking at the cards. So if you feel generally confident about them, put a little smiley face on the tarot card confidence tracker in the start column. And then week by week, you're going to be adding more smiley faces in different columns as you go through the lessons or each week, and you're becoming more and more familiar with each of the cards through play and repetition. This is how you're going to measure your success through this course by additional smiley faces. Of course, you can use check marks, but that's not nearly as fun as like little smiley faces. You could even use gold star stickers. That would be cool. You do you, whatever you want. All right, so in the course, I'm going to go through what the other columns are on this tarot card confidence tracker, but really just concentrate right now on putting smiley faces in that start column for the cards that you already feel pretty confident about. I am excited to get started on this program with you. This wraps up the end of Lesson 0, which is just a general introduction to the course and to my style of teaching, what I expect from you and what you can expect from me, and about the tarot deck generally in a brief organizational way. However, you still have a little bit of homework before you're ready to move on to lesson 1. And lesson 1 is sort of the week 1 official start of this course. So, first, I want you to print out your materials in the workbook if you choose to do so, or copy them onto a new page from that workbook by hand if you would rather do that. I want you to gather your supplies, which is going to be the tarot deck, a tarot journaling system, app, software, whatever you're going to use. Doesn't need to be a notebook, couldn't be, whatever, you do you. I want you to take a look at this course calendar and mark out those dates and then schedule out and block out that time, whatever planner or calendar system you use. Just make sure you set aside enough time for this course. It'll be about 5 to 10 minutes each day. And then on the day your lesson arrives, it'll be closer to a half hour, maybe an hour if you really want to go deep. And finally, I want you to take a look at that tarot card confidence tracker that you're going to find in the workbook. And I want you to go through card by card and put a little smiley face in the start column for any card that you feel really confident, generally confident reading today. And by confident, I don't mean like the numerical correspondence and the zodiac association and how to read it in every single possible combination. I don't mean that kind of confidence. I'm talking about just generally, when it shows up in a spread, do you know the meaning and well enough? Do you know what it means in your life or the traditional meaning? You may still have to look it up in the book to get a really detailed, deep look into it or to stop second guessing yourself. But generally, do you just have a kind of, general intuitive understanding of what the basic meaning of this card is? If so, you get a little smiley. Just put your smiley face in that start column. And when you've done all of these things, I cannot wait to see you in the next lessons video, which is the lesson for week 1. All right, I'll see you there.